Hello?
Hello?
Hi, this is Bill.
Who's there?
This is Bill
Linda
Flick.
Bob?
Hold on. Linda,
Yes, I'm here.
this is Bill Flickinger. I need
Yes.
to record the numbers that I'm seeing so I can match the names.
Okay.
So would you talk again?
It's 512-300-8776, I believe.
All right. And who else is on a telephone connection?
I am. Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's wait for a second until more people connect, and then we'll see everybody. We'll list everybody that's on the connection.
Can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
I can see you.
can see you, Catherine. I can hear you. We have a couple more people connecting. Catherine, let's wait till we see who connects, and then I'll go through the list.
Okay.
And then we can get started in a couple minutes.
This is Sarah Teal. I'm connected.
Okay, Sarah. This is Bill Flickinger. We're going to make a list of participants based on the number. Are you at a 650 number?
I am.
There we go. Hey, Jimmy.
How you guys doing?
Hey.
I'm over here. Hi, everybody. Okay, so that's Jana. Okay. I can't do that little square. But it's so
No idea how to mute this, you guys. Can you hear me?
There, I
There
see
you
you.
I see you.
Okay, I have no idea how to mute, so I'm just gonna.
Press the space bar.
That's
Hello,
hard.
can everybody hear me?
We can hear you.
I can't hear you. I can't. Are you on video, Art?
I'm on video.
I'm not seeing you yet.
I can see you. I can see, I can't see, Bill. Where's Bill?
I think Linda just called in.
Okay.
There's Jana.
And here's Lewis.
Hi, Liz. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Okay, now I see Bill.
Can you hear me, Liz?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay, I see
Lewis.
Okay, so who do we have? Hi, Diana and Jim. Who do we have on so far? Just Zervigon, Flickinger, and Jana. And it looks like we have Linda on by telephone, right?
Yes.
And
Linda,
I'm on. Art's on.
Okay.
do you have a camera, Art, or not?
I do, but I couldn't get the audio to work, so I used my phone.
Okay, so you're not there with video then. Okay.
Hold on.
And
I thought
Catherine.
I had video. I could see you guys.
Okay. Let's just go and everybody announce their name and if they're on, and then I'll try to identify everyone. So let's start with the directors, please.
Catherine Frankie.
Okay.
Hi, this is Jana Ramirez.
This is Art Madrano.
This is Luis Zervigon.
This is Chris Rocco.
Okay, Chris, you're on a 296 number.
Right.
Okay.
Let me suggest to everybody that at the bottom left-hand corner, you have a place where you can mute the sound. I suggest that when you're not talking, you mute it, especially if you have a dog barking in your house.
Oh, we've got one of those.
Okay, so we went through the directors. Let's go through the manager representatives. Could you announce yourself?
Mackenzie's here.
Okay.
Lee Catlin is here.
Lee and Mackenzie on video or on this?
I'm not on video.
If you do the, Lewis, if you do the gallery view up at the top right, you'll see more people.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
And everybody that's on video, if you could do the gallery view at the top, you see speaker view, you can change it to gallery view. It's a little more useful.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm trying to name all the phone connections. And so I think, Art, could you talk?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so
I'm here.
you're on a 214-914 number?
Yes,
Yes,
I am.
I am.
You're on a 214-914 number?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
A little echo there.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of echo. Art, you need to mute your phone when you're not talking.
Okay.
And if anybody has headphones, that'll work better too. Okay, so we have another caller that's on a 512-905 number. Could you identify yourself?
Yes, I am Hanoi Avila, and I'm a resident at Blazing Star.
Okay, and could you spell or give me your name again?
Yep, Hanoi, Hanoi. Last name is Avila, A-V as in Victor, I-L-A.
Oh, what happened?
Give me 1 second.
Hanoi and I had an exchange of emails about a month ago.
Okay. Is there anybody, well, let me go through the list and you tell, if there's someone on the line, please announce yourself. So we have directors, Art, Catherine, Lewis, Jana, Chris. We have from Infomark, Christy, Kenzie, Lee. And then on the from the members of the public, we have Linda Fobb, Sarah Teal, and Hanoi Avila. Is anyone else on the connection?
Sages.
I'm sorry, yeah, I can see it, Sage. All right.
Okay.
Can everybody see those connections and the labels I put on them as far as the directors?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Catherine, so if you want to begin the meeting, we're ready.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so I am going to open this virtual meeting of the WTCMUD1, and I'm going to open it to public comments. And I guess we'll start with Sarah Teal and Bill, correct me, we've got, is it 2 minutes each for each public comment?
Each segment, yes.
Each segment. Okay, so Sarah, are you doing a public comment or are you?
I just have one public comment.
Okay, so you're not going to talk about any of the agenda items?
I'm not.
Okay, go ahead.
Right now, as a community, we are dealing with an unprecedented situation. In a time like this, clear, concise, well thought out communication with the public is important. To my family, knowing what is happening with our park system is incredibly important because we utilize these shared spaces to relax, play, and get fresh air. That has literally never been more important to us than now, when we must stay away from the rest of the world for an unknown amount of time. Unfortunately, the message about parks that the MUD District has posted on their website, and also the messaging coming from leaders of the neighborhood association, is convoluted, lacks detail, and at times is actually completely wrong. Yesterday, I traded numerous messages with Parks Committee member Jana Norton, and she was not able to answer my basic questions. Things like, are the basketball courts open? Are the tennis courts open? What about the green spaces that aren't the trail or play equipment? Can we utilize those spaces? What is the permanent sign posted they're going to say? What is the amount of feet for social distancing? Also, the message posted on the MUD website regarding parks changed at least 3 times yesterday, according to my count. I certainly hope these questions will be answered for residents in short order because I am not the only one who wants to know the answer. Outside of that, the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association president, Beth Jones, was posting inaccurate information that indicated that all the parks in Williamson and Travis County are closed. They are not. Neighbors can check out the community forum for WTCMUD1 on Facebook to see what is actually happening in the parks in those counties. I sent a message to the Parks Committee regarding this misleading post by Ms. Jones, and no action was taken to mitigate her mistake. I see that Friends of Andersonville West also just posted a clarification that did little to unravel the confusion that has already been sown, and that the clarification was only available to those members who follow those groups, not posted on the MUD website. This MUD board seems to lack the ability to work together to make the most basic of organized decisions for our community in this trying time, and to get that information out in a clear and accurate way to our neighborhood. Please remember that 2 MUD director positions will be up for re-election this November. You should pay close attention to whether the people you vote for encompass the qualities that are necessary to lead a confident response in times of troubles like these.
Thank you. Linda, did you have a comment, a public
I do. I
comment,
have
or
a-
did a public
I
comment?
do
And-
have a-
I'm sorry, we're sort of talking to each other. And did you want to make a comment about an agenda item?
Yes, ma'am. I want to do a comment on agenda item 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, hold on, let me get agenda item 2 is temporary moratorium on the disconnection on disconnection of water service. Agenda item 3 is payment plans for district customers. And agenda item 4 is temporary moratorium on the enforcement of certain deed restrictions.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead,
Ready?
Linda. Yes.
Okay. Tonight's special meeting agenda is about the MUD Board's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Before diving into the details, I would like to encourage my friends and neighbors to listen to and heed the advice and direction coming from Cedar Park's Mayor, Corbin Van Arsdale. His strong, reassuring approach leading up to and during this crisis is both comforting and hopeful. Find strength and hope from our Cedar Park city leaders. Here in our MUD district, we have not heard one word from our duly elected officials. Instead, we have had other people speaking on their behalf, each one spreading their own brand of false information. These MUD board surrogates are creating mass confusion and adding additional stress and anxiety on families that are already on edge and struggling. There are no leaders here. Agenda item 2, temporary moratorium on disconnection of water service. This board directed that water services be disconnected this month after COVID-19 was deemed a global pandemic, and then extorted residents for money to reconnect their water, a survival element to combat this crisis. Where other communities offered compassion, this MUD board opted to hang red tag notices on doors and cut off people's water. Deplorable acts from people who profess to be kind. Number 3, payment plans for district customers during the crisis. Plenty of people will lose their jobs or have their hours cut during this crisis. Until you know the full extent of a family situation, why not offer payment options and let the family participate in what that would look like? Are you going to disconnect water again next month when these families can't make a payment that you plan for them? Number 4, temporary moratorium on certain deed restrictions. I would like to suggest that all deed enforcement be halted until the crisis has passed, or at least 3 months, whichever is greater. This time window should be used to determine if deed enforcement is even necessary in the district. The money saved over 3 months without a contractor looking for a handful of violations will save approximately $15,000 and should be used to help families struggling to keep their water running. That's the kind thing to do. No one needs deed enforcement, but everyone needs water. I'm done. Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, thank you, Linda. And so now I am going to close
Catherine?
that.
Catherine, this is Bill.
Yeah.
We do have another resident on the
Oh,
line.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Hanoi. Did you need to want to make a comment?
No, thank you. I'm not making a public comment.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I am at this point, I am going to close the public section of our meeting, and I am going to go to agenda item number 2, which is temporary moratorium on the disconnection of water service during the COVID-19 viral crisis.
Catherine, can I interrupt just for a second?
Sure.
Procedural.
Yeah.
At this time, I am going to go ahead and mute the residents that have appeared. They will still be able to hear the meeting, but there'll be no further resident participation. Also, this meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be placed on the website after it's time-stamped and so forth. So everybody that is on the meeting, you are being recorded, and the residents, you'll be able to review this on the website later. I do have access to show the connections of the residents, so if anyone accidentally gets cut off by me or some dysfunction in the system, we'll address that. But right now I can see everybody on the screen. I think the directors that have video can see the residents are still on the screen. And so at this time, Catherine, with your permission, I'm going to attempt to mute those connections.
Okay.
All right. Do the residents understand what we were planning to do?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so at this time, the three residents are muted.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so we're talking about the temporary moratorium on the disconnection of the COVID virus. Okay, so where are we going to go with this? Isn't this part of the great big resolution that you've already shared with us, Bill? It's on here.
No, actually, this is a separate from the emergency order that we rough drafted. I felt that the board ought to set the moratorium, and then if we approve the emergency order, board president has the ability to extend it. So this really is a board action, separate item.
Okay. Okay, so who wants to weigh in on the situation? Because right now what I'm hearing is we're getting moratoriums all over the place on the disconnection. Williamson County and Travis County have already issued moratoriums on evictions due to non-payment of rent, and they're expecting that to continue, probably into the summer, because we're not even at the point where people who have been affected by COVID-19. We're dealing with people who are having issues before the virus actually started.
Okay,
so I don't have, yeah.
I have a question. It appears to me from what Bill said, from what you're saying, that on the agenda item number 2, if the board approves we pass a resolution approving that decision would be implemented through a resolution which we have in front of us. Is that correct?
What, Liz, that's not exactly correct. If the board imposes a moratorium, which the agenda item doesn't specify why service is being disconnected, but most districts are considering a moratorium for non-payment. So if there's a health and safety issue, it's different. But what I envisioned was the board enacting a moratorium, and then the emergency order will equip the board president to extend the moratorium if needed, in case we couldn't meet it.
Okay, but you're suggesting that a moratorium could be based on various factors, non-payment, et cetera, et cetera. So are you looking for some qualification or set of qualifications on the moratorium so that they will be delineated more specifically?
Correct, and a time period.
And a time period. Okay, so as I understand, what we're talking about is a moratorium that would exist as long as the emergency situation that takes care of that issue. And the second thing is, do we then have to specify what conditions in the field would lead us to apply the moratorium? Is that what you have in mind?
Well, actually, Liz, what I had in mind is the board would set a date. We'd have a moratorium on disconnects for non-payment, say till July 1st or some date certain. And if we probably will be able to meet like this again, but if something happens where we can't, then the board president could extend it.
Okay, so this is disconnects for non-payment. for example, if we have a disconnect because someone moves out and the house is vacant,
that would not be applicable.
that would not be applicable. Okay. So I can't think of any other circumstance where we would have a disconnect other than non-payment. Am I correct?
Well, Christy could comment on it. There are some rules for dangers to the water system, like cross connections. There'll be health and safety issues. If someone does something like that, we may still want to disconnect them if they're endangering our system.
Okay, so what I suggest then is that we would have a resolution that has a moratorium on disconnect for non-payment, and we make it specifically, exclusively for non-payment, and we don't address any other possibility. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think that's where we're going, and I think we are following the mandates that we're seeing in other parts of our government.
That's what I understood. Okay, so I move that we agree on a moratorium on disconnection of water services for non-payment to exist as long as there is an emergency as defined by the federal government.
And I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, so we're gonna let the federal government define the definition of emergency. Is that what we're gonna say? Versus Governor Abbott? That's all I'm asking.
That's a very good question, and I'm not sure to what extent the state is making such a definition. I know that the federal government is. Perhaps Christy or Bill have a feel for where the definition is coming from.
Well, there's actually two disaster declarations. One, as I understand, is federal, and one is state. So Governor Abbott has declared an emergency for the state, and the federal emergency's been declared. Some local emergencies have been declared, like counties and cities. So I might suggest that the motion include that it extend until all federal or state emergency declarations have been rescinded.
Okay,
And we're not in any municipality, so it would just be federal and state because we don't have any.
Well, and I guess county too.
County. So let's amend the motion to say until the emergency as declared by the federal, state, and county are no longer applicable. Does that make sense?
Yes, to me.
okay, and we don't need to put a timeline on it. We don't need to say 90 days or something like that. We're just clear with it being open-ended, basically.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay,
So we'll need a second to the motion.
go ahead, Jana, second it again.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I did hear it too.
Okay, so do we have any more discussion from Art or Chris?
Not me.
Okay,
No, not from me.
okay, so all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All of those not in favor? All those opposed? Okay, sounds like we got an agreement there. Okay, so let me pull up the agenda again. Okay, so agenda item 3, payment plans for district customers during COVID-19 virus crisis. Okay, was this meant for people, new payment plans that are being made, or how is this different from the payment plan authority that we already have written into our rate order?
I'm not exactly sure what the rate order provides, but I think that typically the manager can provide a 6-month payment plan.
Right. So that's really what I'm trying to understand is what are we trying to get at that's above and beyond what's in our rate order for this agenda item?
I would envision a longer payment plans than the normal payment plan that the manager offers.
Okay. Okay, so Christy, do you perceive that we need to make a blanket change to our payment plan process right now?
I think if this resolution is adopted, it gives you the authority to do a case-by-case basis. Right now,
Okay.
we can extend a payment by 6 months. So I'm hoping that this epidemic is over in 6 months. So I think we're going to be fine. Right now, we have a suspension of no disconnection.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we'll be fine. But residents need to understand. So I think going forward, we still we've modified the language on our disconnect notice that they will not be disconnected, but they're still showing the balance that's past due plus whatever's current. So people are updated.
Okay.
At the end, that way, when we do come out, and they're still going to owe that amount, but we will not suspend or disconnect services during this time.
Okay.
Christy, when you said this resolution passes, you're referring to this emergency order?
Correct.
Okay, but Bill, I think you said that the emergency order, you wanted, in addition to that, you wanted a board resolution on the agenda items. So
Yeah, Louis, what I envisioned, and we would talk about it, and what we're discussing is the standard payment plan that Infomart can provide is 6 months, which is for everybody that needs a payment plan, they can go direct to the manager and get a 6-month plan. So if the board wanted to make a decision now on extended payment plans, they could. If they want to delegate that to the board president, then that would be item 5, the temporary emergency order. Board president would be able to extend payment plans. So if we get into this and we're at month 4 or 5 and it's looking like people need much longer payment plans, board president, if we approve number 5 on the agenda, could extend those. So I guess at this point, it's up to the board. If they want to just go with the 6-month payment plan and consider the temporary order to address the other issues, that would be sufficient.
I'm willing to stay with where we are right now. I'm really interested to see what is the tsunami that's coming for our community. I'm crossing my fingers that we're going to weather this storm, so to speak, without loss of life, loss of jobs, disconnects for non-payment, etc. So I'm comfortable right now just staying with the 6 months, and then really, I think it's actually really too early to make a change. It's probably going to be June. I'm thinking June might be a more appropriate time if we start seeing something happening. But right now, we just know we have a moratorium on disconnects.
Catherine, that makes sense to me. But what we're talking about then is that under the item 3 of the agenda, we would say the payment plans are to remain as is. But then if we go for the temporary emergency order, that would give us the flexibility of making adjustments under your direction as required. Am I correct?
Right.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we are going to, okay, so we're going to have to make some sort of adjustments so that we can pivot what you're saying quickly if necessary.
And that would be incorporated under the temporary emergency order if we approve it. So we can say right now that for example, I'm not making the motion, I'm asking the question. If I move that the payment plans remain as is, if we pass that, then when we implement the temporary emergency order, then there is where we have the flexibility to make adjustments, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and I think that's where I'd like to stay.
Okay, so I would so move that the payment plans remain as is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to second that. Okay, does Jana or Chris or Art have anything to contribute?
No objection from Art.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Sounds okay with me.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Louis says aye.
Okay, all opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay. Agenda item 4.
I think those who are opposed muted their microphones.
Okay, okay.
That was a joke.
Okay. Agenda item 4, temporary moratorium on enforcement of certain deed restrictions during COVID-19 virus crisis. Okay, so
So the item was put on here to consider what the board would like to do with this. So the moratorium could be on all deed restrictions. It could be on certain deed restrictions like overnight parking or others. And the board could set a time period for that moratorium. The emergency order, if we adopt it, would allow the president to extend that.
okay, so Sage, what are you hearing about what kind of problems we're going to have with overnight parking in those parts of our district where we've got overnight parking issues, because we've got a whole bunch of college students who have come home unexpectedly, and you know, the end of the semester has been canceled just about everywhere.
We have a college student that's in that situation, and when we heard the news, we did have a tour that week. We have only had one phone call from an overnight parking violation, and that's where the resident asked for a moratorium. It's only been one. All our other violations have been chronic violators, you know, from the past year. So it's not a new issue. We would prefer to deal with it on a one-to-one basis and work with the residents that are undergoing this. If it is an issue that they don't have room, you know, for the parking, but it's
Diana,
up to the board.
does that mean you think a moratorium is not necessary? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think it's necessary at this point. But
it's just too early to tell. Is that
I think
really
it's too early to tell on how many kids are actually coming home and parking. Like I said, we only had one person call and explain that she wanted to be in compliance, but she knew that this was going to happen because her kids were coming home. So she was trying to figure out what they could do to be prepared should the spring break extend for a longer period of time than expected.
Okay, as
We're
I
in communication with a lot of these folks, so we understand where they're at and what they're dealing with, and usually we can find things to help the situation, either parking with a neighbor or parking in a different spot. But more times than not, it's just a communication issue.
Okay, as I understand it, if we don't put a moratorium in place, but then we do pass the agenda item 5, the temporary emergency order, then under that provision, we have the flexibility there under section 4 of that emergency order. We have the flexibility to make changes as required.
That is correct.
That is correct. And I'd like to also bring up that during this, when this all started, we had that lightning strike. It turned out to be a good thing that we continued with the tours, because we found an irrigation leak and we found a home that had been struck by lightning that had a gas leak, and just having an extra set of eyes during a difficult time helped to save, you know, someone's home.
That's a great thing.
Let me ask this: Jana and Art, is there any consensus here, contrary to the idea of not placing a moratorium, but letting any changes kick in through the emergency order that we would have on agenda item 5? Is everybody comfortable with that? I don't want to make the motion if there's any discomfort with that.
I'm comfortable with it.
Jana?
Yeah. I'm comfortable. What about you, Chris?
I am too. I just want to be able to determine how the virus and the hardship that it's causing is going to affect compliance with the deed restrictions. I mean, on a case-by-case basis is how I see it.
Right.
And
Yes.
I believe the emergency order would give Catherine the authority to act in that way, right, Bill?
Yes, but with one qualification, if we picked a category of restrictions, such as overnight parking, and we decided, or either the board decides today or Catherine decides under the emergency order to temporarily put a moratorium on enforcement of overnight parking in the district, that would be appropriate. What we can't do though is we can't discriminate against one person parking overnight
Right.
with another. And
Right.
so we have to, if we put a moratorium on a type of restriction, we have to specify that. And so, yes, working with people is something Sage does really good, and working with them, but we can't just pick and choose which people we're going to enforce against. We would need to meet, the DRC and the board would need to meet on cases when we have appeals and special instances. So that's the
Right.
only concern I would have.
Okay.
Okay, as I understand it, there's a consensus that we leave the existing deed restriction requirements in place, and that any changes we need to make would kick in through the emergency order. Does
Right.
that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, and like I said, we are just at the front end of this
Exactly.
situation. And so I'm really sort of taking the real conservative point of view of let's see where it all runs. So I'm comfortable saying let's just stay the course, but have the flexibility to make an adjustment midstream if we have to.
And I can tell you from my own family, I have grandchildren that are just not even home from school yet, but they will be because of things that are happening. So we are gonna see an increase in people coming into their homes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think we are too.
Okay.
Okay, so shall I make the motion? Jan,
Go
you
ahead.
Okay, so I move that we leave the deed restriction enforcement process in place. And that motion, this is not part of the motion, but that motion is on the basis that we will have the flexibility we need from the item 5 temporary emergency order. So my motion is to leave the existing deed restriction process in place.
Somebody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Art. Do we have any more discussion? Okay, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye from Art.
All opposed?
Luis says aye.
Okay. Oh, you're opposed?
No, Luis says aye.
Okay, okay. Okay, so that one passed. Okay. Next agenda item. Okay, agenda item 5, temporary emergency order delegating authority to the board president to approve certain actions needed to continue functioning of the district during COVID-19 virus crisis, including authorization for the board vice president to act if the president is unavailable or unable to act. And so has everybody had a chance to read this?
I went over it a little while ago, but since I'm on my phone, I can't really go over it again. I mean, I did go over it though.
Okay, would it be appropriate, Bill, for me just to read it?
I think that would be fine. I would add that it was posted on the website, and pursuant to Linda Fobb's recurring request, I did email the draft to her. What you have is a suggested draft that obviously the board can modify orally tonight. I would also point out that section 8 of the order on page 2, I left a blank for a date, which could be a date or could be similar to our motion on the moratorium on disconnects that Lewis made. So I think it's short enough. It'd probably be of benefit for you to read it.
Okay. Okay. Williamson Travis County's Municipal Utility District Number 1, temporary emergency order delegating authority to the board president to approve certain actions needed to continue functioning of the district during COVID-19 virus crisis, including authorization for the board vice president to act if the board president is unavailable or unable to act. Whereas the current COVID-19 virus crisis is adversely impacting the ability of the Board of Directors of Williamson Travis County's Municipal District, Utility District Number 1, the board, to hold regular meetings in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. And whereas the board is of the opinion that it may be difficult or impossible to have a quorum of directors physically present for the meetings in the coming months, and that in-person meetings may subject attendees to unnecessary risk of contracting or spreading the COVID-19 virus. And whereas the board wishes to provide certain authorizations to the board president so that the vital functioning of the district can continue during the period of time in which regular board meetings may not be feasible. And whereas the board also acknowledges that there may be instances when the board president may be unavailable or unable to act pursuant to the authorizations herein, and that the board vice president should be authorized to act in such instances. Now, therefore, it is ordered by the Board of Directors of the Williamson Travis County's Municipal Utility District Number 1 as follows. Section 1, payments. The board president is hereby authorized to approve payment of all obligations of the district and authorize transfer of funds to pay such obligations so that obligations of the districts can be timely paid. After approval by the board president, all of the directors are authorized to sign checks for such payments as needed. In addition, the board president is authorized to modify the requirements of 3 directors' signatures to 1 director's signature. Section 2, emergency repairs and services. The board president is hereby authorized to approve and pay for any emergency repairs and services required to the district facilities. Section 3, extension of moratorium of water service disconnections. The board president is hereby authorized to approve and extend moratoriums on water service disconnections for non-payment or for payments to be determined by the board president. Section 4, extension of moratorium on deed restrictions enforcement. The board president is authorized to implement, extend, and or modify any moratorium on deed restriction enforcement in the district. Section 5, granting the extended payment plans for water service. The board president is authorized to approve extended payment plans for customers of the district and such terms as the board president deems appropriate, and to amend any current payment plans for customers to provide for durations in excess of payment plans approved by the board or district manager. Section 6, authorizations for acquisition of equipment for remote board meetings. The board president is authorized to investigate, acquire, and pay for any equipment, software, or services that may be needed to facilitate video or audio conferencing of meetings of the board and committees. Section 7, authorizations. In the event the board president is unavailable or unable to take action pursuant to this temporary emergency order, the vice president of the board is hereby authorized to act instead of the board president. Section 8, expiration of temporary emergency order. This temporary emergency order shall expire on the earlier of 2020 or upon the termination by the board. Adopted this day, March 2020. Okay. Okay, so does what I'm getting from this is right now we have to have 3 signatures on all checks going on, but this is giving me the authority to say, no, we're only going to use one signature, my signature. Am I interpreting this correctly, Bill?
That's a correct interpretation. The reason we put that in there, and Christy, you probably will want to comment on this. Right now, we have to generate physical checks, get 3 physical signatures on the checks. So in this crisis, what that creates is we have a virtual meeting or Catherine approves something, and then we have to go to people's residence, get checks signed, and frankly, the delivery couriers and all are, pretty much overloaded. So I think we'd have to talk about that a little bit, how that would happen, but I believe we'd have to go ahead and get the banks to agree that one signature would be acceptable.
Well, that was my next question then, was right now our account is set up to have 3 signatures. What is the process that we're going to have to go through in order for only one signature, my signature, I'm assuming, is going to be acceptable?
So I've contacted the bank and they will just require a new signature card. So I will provide that to you. What I've already done is the finance committee, which is Art and Jana, will be reviewing the invoices and checks. We've already have them printed. So they'll be reviewing those. Art, I think, is going to come by the office on Monday. Jana's going to review them on Tuesday, and then we'll need a 3rd signature to get us through this month. And the next month, we can change the signature card to allow 1 signature for checks going forward.
Okay.
Perfect.
I will be back into Austin, the end of this weekend, so I can sign checks if need be. So, okay.
I think we're good. I think we're good this month though, because but after Monday or Tuesday, you can go ahead because we're doing invoices.
Okay. So was there anything any other discussion about certain sections of this resolution that somebody wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I have a question, and it may be an overreaction, but I'd just like to see how everybody feels. We have an authorization for the president, or in the incapacity of the president, for the vice president to act. So my question is, should we consider adding a 3rd person to the list?
I was going to ask the same question, Louis. That's good that you did that. That's good.
Okay, so if we do add a 3rd bill, if we do add a 3rd person, can we add that person as being a placeholder, or do we have to name a specific person? For example, could we say any one of the board members, or do we have to say a specific position?
Well, I would recommend you include the position, because first of all, we probably ought to have an official ranking. We have board president, usually the next officer would be secretary. Hopefully 3 are plenty for now. This sequence of having authority to act is really in the worst case scenario when people get sick or they're in the hospital and so forth. So if you want to add someone, I would add the board secretary next in line. I think that would be most appropriate. Plus, we're going to have, if this goes on for a long time, we're going to have an election in November, and we'll elect new officers at that time. So the names may change, so I wouldn't do it by name.
Okay.
Okay, is everybody comfortable with the idea of having the secretary be the person? And who is that?
It's Chris Rocker.
It's Chris. I'm comfortable.
I'm fine with that, Louis.
And Chris, are you ready for that heavy responsibility?
Yeah, just thinking if it comes down to that, that's going to be pretty bad. The 3rd person. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Really?
Exactly. Okay, so we need to make a modification
To add the secretary.
Right. So,
Catherine, let me address that real quickly.
Yeah.
Wherever we reference the board vice president acting, if the board president cannot act, be in the recitals and in section 7, that I would add a sentence that then states if the board vice president is not able to act, the board president and vice president are not able to act, it would be the board secretary, and I can insert that language in the final version.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, I have another question. Section 8 talks about the expiration by a date earlier than. Can we weave something into that that says, you see, we have the saving feature that it's upon the determination of the, upon term. You have upon termination by the board, you mean determination. Look at the language on section 8. I think there's a
No, I meant termination, Lewis. So the earlier of the event, so it'd either be a date certain, or we could tie it to the expiration of the disaster declarations like you did on the other motion. But then if the board decided to terminate this earlier, if we have a meeting, we say, hey, we want to terminate this for whatever reason, then the board could terminate it at any time by vote and it would expire.
I think we're protected by the ability of the board to terminate it at any time that it feels is appropriate. So we could add on here upon the end of the disaster as declared by the governor and county. But I think that's kind of like gilding the lily, because the board can end it when it seems appropriate, right?
Correct. But then I would suggest you put in a date certain, or, well, there's our stuff, or remove the date altogether and just make it expire upon termination by the board, so it would continue till then.
That's what I like, until termination by the board.
That's what I like also.
I do as well.
I can make that change.
Okay.
And then the adoption date that would be obviously tonight, adopted this 20th day.
Yes.
So, Bill, do we need a motion to encapsulate these various revisions?
Yes, but before you do that, I'd ask Infomark if they have any comments on the authorizations regarding repairs, mostly repairs. Christy, do you feel that's sufficient to cover emergency situations?
I do. Are you referring to section 7?
Section 2.
Hold on. Yes, I do.
So other than that, unless anybody else has any other changes, I could go ahead and repeat the changes to the draft, and then you could incorporate, whoever wants to make a motion could incorporate that to approve the order with the changes as stated by me, if you'd like.
Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, so the changes to the draft order would include the fourth whereas paragraph to include a sentence providing that in the event both the board president and vice president are unavailable or unable to act, the authorizations could be utilized by the board secretary. That in section 7 would be the same change under authorizations. Section 8, that the expiration of the order would be upon termination by the board. And those are the changes that I heard mentioned.
I can't make the motion because my dog is barking a lot, so I'm going to mute my microphone.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, go ahead, Bill, or Art.
Can I just say what Bill said?
Well, let me repeat what the motion would be real quickly. It would be to approve the temporary emergency order as drafted with the changes stated by me at this meeting.
I so move.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay, do we have any more discussion on the resolution and the changes to it?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Luis
Also-
and say aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion passes. Okay. So then hold on. Okay. I think that's the end of the meeting. Is there anything else? There wasn't any reason to go into closed session, was there, Bill?
No, and Catherine, I'd like to just say a couple things, and perhaps Infomark has something to add. This is our first completely virtual meeting we've done on this software, and it's designed to comply with the governor's current rules, he relaxed the open meeting laws so we could do this. The standard rules would require 3 directors to be physically present somewhere before we could telecommunicate anybody into the meeting as far as directors. So I think this system has worked fairly well. Others have recommended to me. Lewis uses the Zoom system for other events. And so I hope that everybody was able to hear well. From my end, the people there on video, I can see you pretty well and I can hear everybody well. We'll know more after the recording.
Right.
We'll know more after the recording. And this system does, for the benefit of the members of the public, it can handle up to 500 call-ins. So we should be able to accommodate any citizens that want to call into the meeting.
That's good to know.
I would like to, because we're going to do this again, next Wednesday with our new regular board meeting. What I would like to do is practice. Why don't we doing a screen share so that I can pull the agenda so that we can see, everybody can just look at the agenda. As there might be other things also that we might want to be putting up as part of the screen share, because there's going to have papers being handed out, et cetera, et cetera. So I was glad to hear that this had a screen share capability, because I didn't know if it did or not. I knew that WebEx does and GoToMeeting does, but it looks like Zoom is going to work well for us also.
I have a question about the functionality. As I understand it, the only people who can see the video are the people who have the link, who have gone in, who are the board members, consultants, or staff. And the public can call in, but they don't see the video. Is that correct, Bill?
That's correct, but on the recording, when the recording's made available to the public on the website or the link to it, all the video will be on the recording.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else? Because otherwise I need somebody to.
Christy, did you have anything to add?
I do have one question. I know that we're suspending the disconnects. Are we suspending late fees as well?
I was not thinking that was happening, that we are just suspending the disconnects. Everything is moving forward as usual. It's just the disconnect that is being suspended.
Well, don't we treat that as a case-by-case basis?
Well, what's going to happen is a majority of the districts that we're seeing in the area, I mean, 150 of them that we have contracts with, is a lot of them are not incurring late fees or the late fee expenses or a disconnect. Obviously, we're not disconnecting anybody. So it's at the board's discretion whether we apply those late fees to non-payment customers. And that's been a 50-50 situation in the clients that we've seen.
Okay, so let me see if I understand, Christy. In the case where we do not do disconnects, we would have late fees even if we don't do disconnects. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, and if people fail to pay before we disconnect, there are late fees, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so what are you doing in some of you? And you said about 50% of your districts are not charging those late fees. Is that correct?
That's right. So, I mean, eventually if someone doesn't, there's hardships. People are losing their jobs. They're laid off. There's going to be hardships going on. So at the end of the day, the bill is going to have to be due. At one point in time, they're going to need to pay their bill. So that 5% or 10% late fee that is assessed, we're assessing that to the bill currently. So my question is, do we continue as going forward assessing that late fee on the water bill, or do we discontinue that?
What are you doing in your other districts? Are you just not charging the late fee at all, or what?
Some districts have chosen to eliminate the late fee, so not to charge any late fees. Some districts have decided to move forward with including the late fee.
I'd like to see how the rest of the board feels. I would be inclined to just waive all the late fees instead of trying to pick and choose.
Okay, you sort of blipped there a moment. Say it again. You are in favor of waiving the wait?
Yeah, I suggest that we consider waiving all late fees instead of trying to pick and choose.
Yeah, I would agree with Louis, given the circumstances.
I agree also. Trying to decide everybody, you know, that's a whole bunch of decisions you'd have to make in each case.
And I'd rather not be in that position. I'd rather just waive all the.
I agree.
So Bill, what do we need to do to include that in the emergency order?
No, I think you just make a motion. This relates to the other items, payment plans and so forth. And so just make a separate motion that the board temporarily waive all late fees on all accounts. And, you know, the board can terminate it at any time.
Okay.
Chris, Art, you want to make that motion?
I'll make it. Do I need to repeat it?
You can just refer to Bill's comment.
Yeah.
And I'll second.
Okay. So all in favor? Say aye.
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 All opposed?
Luis says aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, so we are starting with the next billing cycle. Am I saying that correctly? We are going to waive late fees. Actually, it's going to be all fees. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, yeah, because we're not disconnecting anybody. So we're basically waiving all the late fees associated with an account that's past due.
Okay.
And just so everyone knows, everybody has water service right now. Everything has been restored. We've made sure that we verified that early in the week.
So,
Christy, I'm sorry. Could you also make a quick comment on the safety of the water as far as drinking and disinfection?
Yeah, we've added something to the website. It's basically a link to the EPA. There's a lot of rumors out there that the water could be compromised. That's not, it's false information. The water is completely safe to drink. There's no reason for that. So we are doing everything according to our current policy, and we're taking our testing 7 days a week. So your water is being tested at 10 different locations every day. So far, TCQ, actually, WTC has a TCQ inspection scheduled for next week. So they are moving forward with that, where our documentation will be going forward. But everything as far as the water, it's safe to drink. There is no reason to believe that there's any issues with the water quality or the corona or the COVID-19 and impacting the water quality. So
I hadn't heard that people were discussing that. Okay,
yeah,
glad
so
to hear.
we basically put a link on there, and you know, our priority is to make sure that we have healthy, clean, safe drinking water for the community, and it's ongoing. So that's exactly why I appreciate the board making the motion to suspend any disconnects. There's only a limited, there's only a few districts in the area that are still thinking about not proposing that policy, but yeah, no, everything is good on our side.
So Christy, I have a question. When we talk about waiving late fees, is there a high incidence of that among our customers? It's probably very low, isn't
it? You have quite a few late payment customers in the district. So, I mean, it's a 5 or 10%, I believe, in your rate order. So in this particular situation, we would waive that. We would not implement the late fee.
Okay, so then my question is, would it make sense, and is it possible for your billing system to put some sort of a note on the bill saying that by a decision of the board, late fees are waived?
Yeah, so we have revised our language on the delinquent letter that goes out. So there's a delinquent letter that goes out, and then we hang tags. We're still going through all of those motions. So a delinquent letter will still be sent out, and I will send the board a copy of a example of the delinquent letter. But it basically is revised to say that this is your amount that's past due. This is your current amount. However, due to COVID-19, we are not suspending services at this time. It's a reminder to those people that are not making their payment what is due and what will be due at the end of the day.
So does that mean that the late fees are not going to accumulate to be imposed later? Do I understand that correctly?
With your direction at this meeting, yes, we will turn that off.
Okay. Should you add that to the note you put?
Yes, we can.
I think that would be very helpful, because people who are in that condition are going to be increasingly desperate people, because there are people losing their jobs who don't know how they can pay the rent and put food on the table.
You're right. I just had a neighbor just came up to me yesterday talking about the water. Is the water safe? Is the water safe? And I told her, you know, everything I knew and led her, showed her where to look on the website.
Yeah.
And I'm walking my dog in the neighborhood, and I'm talking to neighbors who've lost their jobs. And sometimes it's a single mom with a couple of kids, and she doesn't know how she's going to pay for the food or the rent. It's a big deal.
Hey, I'd like to also suggest that the budget committee get together and perhaps reassess the remaining year's budget, seeing that we're not going to have late fees and there may be some money not coming in. I just think it would be a good idea to look at the remainder of this year's budget.
Okay. Chris, that's really a good idea, because one of the things I've been thinking about is that we may want to go in and suspend all activities that have not already incurred expenditures. One of the things that we have to worry about is we have an amount in reserve. I think we want to do everything we can to husband that money, because we don't know what we're facing. And so
that's exactly right. We don't want to later on say, God, I wish we didn't spend the money on that.
We may want to stop everything that we can to husband every penny that we can, because our reserves may be jeopardized by this. And a part of what we're dealing with, Christy, is the activities that relate to preparation for the bond issue. Some of those activities we may be able to stop temporarily.
Agreed.
Well, it sure would allow us to weather the non-payment of certain customers who aren't able to pay us without affecting any other services.
Well, Chris, I think you were on the board when the board went through the crisis way back in the 90s, when you had a failure of the water system and you were almost went bankrupt. And I think we may be looking at something similar here if this continues.
We should at least plan.
Yes. So I think your budget committee needs to look very quickly at stuff with Lisa's help, what we can turn off, what we can delay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so then the budget committee needs to be able to talk about that at the next board meeting.
Yeah, I can schedule a budget committee meeting. But just so you'd know that we budgeted $10,000 for service penalties. So we can look at that and see what impact it does have on your budget.
What's the service penalty?
Service
Sorry,
penalties.
Christy, you just spoke up and ran. What did you just say? I couldn't hear it.
It was $10,000 for service penalties that was budgeted for this year.
Can you explain what a service penalty is?
Well, it's basically your late fee and disconnection fees.
Okay.
So I'll schedule a budget meeting.
Okay.
To review the impact.
Afternoon, Christy, if we could.
Who's on the budget committee?
Chris and I. Chris and I.
I am. Yeah.
Maybe at the next board meeting, we could have a list of suggestions from you guys about what we ought to be stopping, what we can stop, what we can delay.
Okay. Yeah, we might want to have a list of what's coming up in the future for major projects and stuff, so we can see where we want to be with that.
Yeah.
I've already started on a list.
Okay. Just let me know, Christy.
Okay, will do. I'll send an invite out.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing, Catherine, I wanted to mention is that I've had phone calls and conversations with people in the neighborhood about the parks being closed and what that consists of. And while I think the signage we've come up with is absolutely clear, some people think it's not clear, including some of the commentary we had during public comments. So I think we need to look at that and decide what we're going to do. Now, I believe that the signage we came up with was based upon, Christy, what you guys are doing in other districts. And although it seems clear to me, some people think it's not. For example, we talk about the parks being closed, and then we say, if you choose to use the trails, keep a safe distance. Some people interpret that to mean that the parks are closed, but the trail is open, but that's not what it says at all. So what I'm suggesting to people who are talking to me in the community is that if they have a question about word parsing, which is what this comes to submit those questions onto our website, and then we'll address them. But we do have a lurking problem there.
So I will mention that this is the same language that we've used in several districts in Austin. It's worked really well. Basically, our parks are closed. The equipment is closed. But people still in this situation, they need to get out and get some fresh air. If they choose to walk on the trails, what we're asking them to do is just limit that social distancing when you're on the trails. But the parks are closed, the basketball courts are closed, the tennis courts are closed. Those areas where people normally, particularly during spring break, we saw a lot of activity at the parks. So that's the important part of getting the notification out there as soon as we could and putting it on the website. But people still need to get out and walk. So
what I'm finding is that for me, it's very clear. The parks are closed. If you choose to use the trails, keep your distance. Some people are reading that and interpreting that to mean that the parks are closed, but the trails are open. And that's not what it says at all. But some people are choosing to interpret it that way. And there's a million different ways that people can ask detailed questions like, the parks are closed. Does that mean I can't sit on the grass with my children? Things like that we can't possibly anticipate all the possible questions that can be raised. So the only thing I can think of is that we might want to do something in the way of inviting people to ask questions on the MUD website that we can then address.
So we did put on there the parks@infomark.com. There's an email address there. If they have specific questions, we encourage people to go there and ask their questions, and we can try to clarify that for them. But I think the signs are pretty specific. The park is closed. If you're using the trails, please use your distance.
No, if they choose to go. I mean, it's like when the pool is closed, their hours are closed. You can't go in. If you go in, you're violating the policy. Some people just won't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting to me is that a lot of people are trying to interpret what's said in ways that don't really make a lot of sense. But these are people who are conscientiously concerned about what they can do with their kids in the park. And so the park is closed, but you can use the trails. So I've got people in the neighborhood saying, well, if the trails are open, and they're not, if the trails are open, can I take my kids along the trails? Is that okay? Things like that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but there are conscientious people in the community concerned about that.
Yeah, so they can email the parks@infomark.com, and we'll try to answer those specific questions or concerns that each resident has.
Let's put some kind of a comment on the homepage of the MUD website saying, if you have any questions about the nature of the closure of the parks, please submit your question at bada.
I think we have something like on that on the website, Lois.
It's on there.
Okay.
And it's also on the sign.
Yes.
Oh, did the signs make it today, Christy? Or are they?
I'm hoping that they're going to be ready early Monday morning.
Okay, good.
I can share with you that Iris was as confused as I was by some of the questions I got from the community.
Okay, is there any more, is there any more discussion? It looks like I'm sitting in the dark. Okay, I'm gonna second that motion. Time to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Luis says
Have a good
aye.
weekend, everyone.
Okay,
To be safe.
yep, I'm leaving the meeting.
Bye.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.